Today I'm making bulgogi beef meatballs with roasted carrots. I have 5 big carrots here peeled, ready to slice. And my meat that I'm going to use for my meatballs. Soy sauce, bulgogi sauce, breadcrumbs, some ginger, olive oil. I'm going to serve it with some jasmine rice. I also have some roasted garlics, and I'm using some dehydrated onions. I'm supposed to have scallions, and I do not, so I'm making do. And I have the meat, the onions, breadcrumbs, soy sauce, bulgogi sauce in there. I'm gonna grate in some ginger, put in my garlic. I have my carrots here on a sheet pan. My meatballs are gonna go in another sheet pan. Gonna preheat the oven to 425 and get my olive oil on my carrots and my meatballs mixed up and rolled. My oven is preheating and my meatballs are on there. I have a sauce to make for later. I don't have the ingredients out yet for that. That'll come later. And my carrots are ready to go in, and they go in for about 20-25 minutes. Then we'll get the meatballs all sauced up. This is a very interesting dish. I've had something similar before, and I'm really excited for it. And while I'm doing this, the first snowflakes of the season. We have our carrots done, our meatballs, just have to get those in the sauce. My sauce is just a little sour cream with some sriracha mixed in. I didn't make a lot because I don't think Pappy's going to want any, but if he does, I'll just make a little bit more. Here's our bulgogi and Pappy's. His looks better. Tonight for supper, I'm making these chicken tenders. I'm gonna top them with the mayo and Parmesan, little breadcrumbs, bake them in the oven. And then I found this rice mix that needs used up. We were going through our extended pantry and pulled out a few things. The dates are getting close. And then just a simple cucumber. I might do a hot vegetable too. It's really chilly, but this is gonna need use, so definitely gonna chop up the cucumber and have it with some salad dressing of some sort. The chicken's on the tray and getting ready to sprinkle and slather mayonnaise and Parmesan cheese and breadcrumbs. We only have little pieces of chicken. We don't want any leftovers tonight because Pappy and I have a little bit of an adventure planned. Here's our chicken pieces with our mayonnaise, breadcrumbs, and Parmesan cheese. I have the oven preheated to 375. I don't want my cheese to burn, and these are little pieces of chicken, so I want to be able to watch them pretty carefully. My meatballs got a little charred yesterday when I followed a recipe instructions, so I'm gonna knock back the oven just a tad. I'm gonna get these in here and check them after about 20 minutes. Get started on our rice then. So I'm just following the package directions for the chicken flavored rice. Just need 2 cups of water. It says 2 tablespoons of margarine. I have butter. And I was just thinking I could have used olive oil. Would have been a little more healthy probably. But the butter's in there now. So we just bring this to a boil. And the contents of the package. I haven't made this in a while. Okay, we're boiling. Reduce heat, cover, simmer for 7 minutes. That's easy. This is one of those emergency food items. Keep on hand. Okay, Mr. Cucumber. It's your turn. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but Mr. Cucumber's bad. I don't like him. I don't like the way it tastes at all. something's off. Something happened to it, so on to a cooked veg. What's plain down here that I won't need or won't have leftovers? Green bean casserole. Seems a little saucy for what we're having. I decided on these peas and I stopped filming because I was downstairs and it sounded like we were under attack. Here somebody was delivering something on the porch. Sounds strange sometimes when you're in different spaces. Our chicken's out. I'm gonna take its temperature and make sure it's done in the middle. This is a chubby one. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's definitely done. Try another one just in case there's an anomaly. Yeah. Our peas are done. Just did a little butter and garlic salt grinder from Trader Joe's. Everything's ready. And here's supper. Our Parmesan oven baked chicken tenders, chicken rice and peas, and Pappy's. Today I'm making vegetable beef soup. And I'm using this chuck roast. You could use any beef cut. I'm doing it in the slow cooker. I was going to do it on top of the stove, but it uses a lot more energy. I have an electric stove, so I thought the slow cooker would be better. And also you can use any cut of meat because the slow cooker is going to make it tender. You could also use ground beef or leave meat out and throw in a can of beans, or use dried beans and some pasta or rice for a complete protein. I have tomatoes and some seasonings here, oregano, basil, thyme, bay leaves. I'm gonna add some mixed vegetables for some variety. And I'm gonna use some bouillon cubes and water. Garlic, carrot, celery, onion. Only using a little potato in it. I have all this cabbage to use up. I'm gonna sear my meat, season it, and get it in the slow cooker. Getting a nice sear on this meat. Gonna stick it in the crock pot. My carrots in there, because they're the most dense vegetable, I guess you could say. Put them in first, get those sauteing. I have celery, and I just heard that celery is one of the vegetables that you actually burn more calories from eating it than it provides you. So to digest it, you're burning more calories. Is that true? If you've heard that, let me know in the comments. Yeah, finally I have my onion in there. I only have the red onions and I'm using what I have. I'm not buying any extra anything at the store to make anything, so I'm sure it'll be delicious. It's one of those sweet Italian red onions. Not your typical red onion, but that's all I had. Use that or my dehydrated onion or onion powder. That'll work. Have my carrots, onions, and celery in there. My cabbage is cut up and ready to go. I have some peeled plum tomatoes. I usually use diced, but this is what I have, so you can either squish them up with your impeccably clean hands or put them in a bowl, chop them up, run them through food processor quick, whatever. I'm just going to use these. I was debating about this potato here because I have this barley, but then I remembered I think Pappy said he didn't want the barley, so I'm going to do the potato. Oh, I almost forgot my garlic. And I found this we got for Pappy when he was doing sort of a fast and he didn't use it, so I'm going to pour it into my measuring cup and see how much bouillon I'll really have to use. We have our tomatoes and seasonings, and they're gonna cook down more as this cooks all day. I've got about 2 cups of broth here. I should have known that from the ounces on the container. I guess it's early, I'm not thinking. So I'm gonna need about 6 cups of bouillon broth. I added my frozen vegetable mix and about half of the cabbage. And I'm just sort of deglazing this pan and getting my bouillon so that I can distribute it better in the soup, because it'll be hard to stir at the bottom with the beef roast in there cooking. I have the broth stirred in there, and another thing I forgot, I wanted to stir some tomato paste in with the aromatics, the carrot, celery, and onion when I was sauteing it for more depth of flavor. So I don't know why I'm not on my game today. Must be a reason. Here's what our soup's looking like. I'm just gonna fish out the roast, the beef roast, and cut it up. Put the meat back in. Here's our soup, it's all done. I cut it off all up, and I'm more picky than Pappy, so if he wants to gnaw on any of that, I'm gonna leave it for him. Found my bay leaves, took them out. And there's plenty of meat in here. Smells good, looks good. I'm gonna taste it for seasoning here. We usually doctor it up in our bowl too. Salt, pepper. Feeling like garlic bread, but I don't think I'm gonna try to keep it healthy today. And here's supper. Vegetable beef soup. Maybe some crackers. And here's Pappy's. Today for supper we're having homemade baked macaroni and cheese. I'm going to use this pasta that needs used up. Also this cheese that I had tucked away in the freezer. Whenever we have extra cheese and we don't think we're going to use it before it goes bad, we stick it in the freezer. And I also have some feta. So this should be a tasty multi-cheese mac and cheese. And then we're gonna grill some fish because it's actually 50 degrees and sunny today. And then I'll decide on a vegetable. I have my pasta boiling and I'm gonna make my cheese sauce. I have about a little less than a stick of butter here. I'm gonna make a roux with a little less than a cup of flour. I'm gonna add some dehydrated onion to this. I think it gives it a nice flavor. Just a little onion for a subtle onion flavor. I'll get this melted and get my flour in there. I have my baking dish sprayed with some non-stick spray. I don't know if I went over the cheeses yet, but I have Colby Jack, Cooper, American, and I need to use up some of this feta. There's a lot in there, and after you open it, it's only good for a certain period of time. So I'm gonna use some of that. And I have about 3 cups of milk. My butter's sizzling. I can smell the onion. Just gonna get the flour all mixed in and let it cook for a few minutes. And we're gonna gradually add our milk. And there's our butter, onion, and flour. Gonna start to gradually add the milk and stir it in. Milk is stirred in and thickening. I'm gonna slowly add the cheese. Just getting the cheeses all stirred in. This is a good use for those that don't go in the strombolis that we make. I put cheeses away for that, meats and cheese. And I have to go make sure my fish is thawed properly. May have to run some water on it. Just drained my pasta, and I've got my feta here. Getting that all stirred in. And then I'll mix them together and put them in the baking dish. Here is our pound of, what, 4 cheese macaroni and cheese. It's getting ready to go into a 350 oven for about a half an hour. And Pappy likes it to get all brown on top, so I may turn up the heat when the fish is almost done. Still deciding on a vegetable. And I'm just letting it sit in this measuring cup of water here. It's almost thawed. There was one piece in there that felt a little frosty, and it should be good. Pappy will be home, and he's our master griller. So let it set there in the cold water. You're only supposed to marinate fish for like 15 minutes, so he'll be here anytime now and start the grill. I decided on peas. I feel like we just had peas, but we like peas with macaroni and cheese and fish, so this is what it is. We have our fish grilled. Process of getting grilled, we're having grill malfunctions. And our macaroni and cheese is out and all sizzling. A little brown on top, just like Pappy likes it. And here's supper. I took a little bit too much mac and cheese, but there's a ton of it, so. And our haddock and peas. And Pappy's. Looks like Pappy feels the same way about the mac and cheese. Tonight for supper, I'm making a sort of like a low carb dish. I'm gonna do this for a few days before holiday time. And I have about 2 chicken breasts cut in pieces, a couple packages of broccoli florets, some boursin cheese, and if you don't have that, you could use I've used the Walmart brand cream cheese and chives container. It stood in for that nicely. I just seasoned the chicken with some Trader Joe's sort of garlic salt, garlic, onion, and parsley. And where the magic happens is you take a cup of cottage cheese, your boursin cheese, and egg, and you zip it up, blend it, and pour it over your cauliflower florets and chicken, and then top it with the sharp cheddar or whatever cheese you enjoy. I have my broccoli layer in there, and I seasoned that, and my broccoli florets were rather large, so I cut them in half long ways. I'm not anti-stem, but I think this is a little more than a floret. I think somebody was fibbing when they packaged that up. And this is what we have after it's all zipped up in the blender, magic bullet. And this is what it's looking like. I'm gonna attempt to mix it around a little bit. I may have more broccoli than what was called for, but that's okay because we want to eat more vegetables the next few days. You hear people say turn your scale back about 15 pounds before Thanksgiving dinner. Well, this is our silly attempt at doing just that. And this is what it looks like with the cheddar cheese on top. It's supposed to go into a 375 oven for 30 minutes. Here it is out of the oven. Cheesy looking. And then Pappy's. And here's supper tonight. Just have a chicken patty that I air fried, bacon that was already pre-cooked and in the freezer, some hard boiled eggs that I had in the fridge, and then I made deviled eggs too. Added some olives and cheese and cucumber and baby green mix. And we're gonna have that dressing. That's it.